Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
What is going on? What is going on? Live. I don't want to say live YouTube, live Twitch. I just want to say live. What is going on, y'all? Um, so funny story. I had a bit of a technical difficulty, so I actually was live a few minutes ago, but then something ended up happening, so I ended up having to take down my previous live feed, but I'm doing this new one now. But it's honestly, it was, oh my god, it was so horrible. But anyway, so I'm live streaming now, about to talk about some fan fiction once again. If you haven't checked out my previous first video that I did on Suko and Katara Sutora, please go check it out. If you guys don't know me, otherworldly here, I am building up this channel to talk about fan fiction, opinions on fan fiction, everything fan fiction, because I am a fan fictioneer and I feel like we don't have enough fan fiction in the world, and I think we need more of that. And actually, scratch that. We probably have enough fan fictions. We just don't have enough people talking fan fiction, and I feel like we need more fan fiction talk around here. But so I think we need to get it going. But anyway, as you see here, I will be talking ELSANNA, fan fiction of Elsa and Anna from Frozen. Just letting y'all know, just putting it out there just in case. There will be no judgment here. Absolutely no judgment. I know a lot of people don't agree with this fan fiction. I understand. I understand the people who agree with it, and I understand the people who don't. It's definitely a very controversial fan fiction, but I feel like it's still a fan fiction that I must talk about. It has to be. But I want people to come in here if there's anybody and just talk to me about what you guys think. I will never judge anybody. I love people's opinion. Even if it's against my own opinion, I still would love to just hear what everybody has to say on this. But moving forward, let's get into the nitty gritty of this oogly boogly fan fiction. All right. So my opinion on this is very just a simple 50-50. Like, I know it's not me trying to like get out of talking about it, but I feel like I'm 50-50 because I feel like the characters themselves I would see together. I actually can honestly appreciate, Elsa and Anna being together as a couple, but I just feel like the execution of the writer is what kind of sways my boat on in one direction or another. I feel like depending on how they're written, I feel like that is how, if it's gonna be yay or nay. Like, I'll give you guys a few examples. So let's say in a fanfiction story, which I've read a ton about these two, let's say that they grew up as siblings. They were siblings through and through from beginning to end, and then from childhood, eventually they grow up and they become adults, and suddenly they fall in love. I feel like stories like that I felt a little bit more uncomfortable reading about, just off rip the fact that they've always been siblings. They've literally always have been siblings. So I just feel like in that sense of the word, I can definitely understand why some people would feel uncomfortable about it. But in the other sense of the word, let's say if a fan fiction story was written about them two, let's say not being siblings. Their images are being used, their personalities are still the same, everything's still the same. It's just they're not siblings. Like, let's say that. If that was the case, then I feel like, okay, I did not feel at all any kind of uncomfortability with that, to be honest. I felt like I enjoyed those kind of stories more when they use their images, they use their personalities, but they're just not siblings. Because I have a few siblings of my own, and I can't help when I read a story to kind of put myself in that perspective of that story. So I personally, those ones I don't agree with. Like I said, that doesn't take away from the fact that the story is hella good. Like I put myself through a process of learning about this fan fiction, and that included both reading absolutely as much content as I could about them. So it definitely is. There's definitely some good stories out there that I recommend you guys reading, whether you feel uncomfortable or not. It doesn't take away that the stories were good. So let's talk about the first example I gave. So them two growing up as siblings, being siblings from beginning to end, eventually developing a relationship or romantic feelings. So in that case, I feel like the two movies definitely gave writers a lot of information, and it gave them a lot of material to use. Because I'm one of those people that likes to think that fan fictions and ships don't happen just because, oh, these two people look together. I feel like us fan fiction community, we have to see something. We have to see something, a hint or a scene or something specific that make us want to say that these two should have been together. For example, Zuko and Katara, Avatar: The Last Airbender. There was a lot of content there, a lot of scenes, a lot of things said, a lot of everything that we as the fanfiction community took and said, okay, a romance is definitely possible between these two. Let us write a story about it. Like, so I feel like the same thing happened with Elsa and Anna. I feel like it's just not possible that people just randomly pulled it out of their butts, like, oh yeah, well, these two need to be together. I don't think that's how it went. I really don't. I feel like between the first movie and the second movie, there were definitely hints and scenes that us fan fiction people could definitely grab from, could definitely write a story about. And for example, I'm gonna go down the route of them being siblings and, you know, being falling in love. So the movie starts off, obviously, spoiler alert, the movie starts off with obviously Elsa and Anna as children, them playing together. Accident happened. Elsa accidentally shot Anna in the head, I believe it was, in the head with her ice blast. Complete accident. So then moving forward from that, the parents took Anna to the trolls, and the trolls, even though they've honestly, I never understood this part. These trolls were probably around for hundreds of years, and it's like they should have had way more solutions than just Anna needs to forget Elsa, like, or else, or yeah, basically like Elsa's magic or whatever. I just feel like for these trolls to have said that, I just feel like there should have been more than just, oh well, you know, let's erase Elsa's magic from Anna's memory. So, but that's not the point here. So I feel like that right there is a little snippet of why, let's say, a common fanfictioneer would have taken it into account to write about these two. Let's say because of the trolls erasing Anna's memory of Elsa, let's say because of that, they also erased how Anna feels about Elsa. They also erased how Anna should act with Elsa or feel. You know, us as a sibling, obviously as siblings, you feel a certain type of way about your siblings, obviously. But let's say because of the trolls' interference, that not only did they erase Elsa's magic from Anna's memory, but they also erased Anna's feelings towards Elsa as a sister. So that would open up the world of them meeting in the future later on as adults. And because Anna doesn't remember loving her as a sister, she develops new feelings, which could honestly be romantic feelings. 100% they could. So I feel like that right there definitely would have worked as a fan fiction story. That right there, I see why somebody would take that snippet of information and create something with it. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to go through like scenes in the movie that I feel, my opinion again, that I personally feel would have given somebody the necessary material that they need to create ELSANNA is in sibling mode. Because I feel like I said there had to be something. They don't just this doesn't just happen. I want to say, like I said, this fan fictions don't happen just because. Like Korosami didn't happen just because. There was a lot of material there. Swan Queen, Aaron Tom's Annie from Attack on Titan, freaking Super Corp. Like all of this, every fan fiction is created on a baseline, on a structure, and that's the most beautiful thing about it. The fact that we can pay attention to detail so greatly that we can see, like, okay, well, that scene is sus. Let me write that down. That scene could be turned into this, and that scene could be turned into that. That's the beautiful thing about fan fiction. So moving forward, that is how I, as a fan fictioneer, if I would have wrote a story about ELSANNA, I definitely would have gone the route of, if I had to write it of them being siblings still, I definitely would have gone down the route of, oh, well, you know, Anna's memory of Elsa was wiped out completely. Like, she doesn't remember, not only does Elsa's magic, but she doesn't remember that she's her sister or her feelings towards her sister. Maybe she remembers Elsa as a person. She just doesn't remember how to treat her, how to deal with her. She doesn't remember any of that. So in that case, I feel like, yeah, I can see how that could have worked. So then moving forward, another scene that I feel like people could have grabbed material from is definitely the fact that Anna literally did like the impossible to go find her sister up that mountain. Like, I feel like I only have myself to use as an example, and me and my siblings, and I feel like if my siblings were in some kind of trouble, or something was happening with them, and I found out by accident or something, obviously I would offer my support and my help. But if they leave, like Elsa did, and they went off somewhere, like, I feel like you're an adult, brother. Like, I feel like as much as I love you and I want to help you, if you want to go deal with it on your own, then all I can do is tell you that I'm here for you, I support you, but I'm not gonna go chase you up a mountain, man. Sorry, brother, sister, I won't do it. You know, I love my siblings, but I won't. But Anna literally took it upon herself to go chase Elsa up that mountain and try to get her back, no matter the consequences, no matter what happened. And I feel like that right there would also have been maybe something that a fan fictioneer could have used to, like, create a romance between the two. And before that, you know, we all know the scene of Anna meeting Hans and falling in love. A little moment, but honestly, I loved Anna, but I feel like that moment right there where they just really just forced that true love on her like that, like she really just fell in love with a man in 5 minutes. They sang one song together, and that was enough for her. She was like, "Yep, this guy's marriage material right here." Like, I never understood that. But when she presented Hans to Elsa, and Elsa vehemently denied Anna, like, "Oh, you can't marry this guy that you just met in 5 minutes." And I can see how that could be taken as jealousy. Like, again, I've read a lot of fan fictions about these two, and a lot of people take this material from that. The fact that maybe Elsa could have been jealous of Hans, that's, I'm not saying that's impossible, but I feel like I said, for us fan fictioneers, we grab material where we can. We grab sources. Anything, any little scene can be turned into something. And I feel like that scene right there of Elsa disapproving of Anna's marriage to Hans could have been taken as Elsa being jealous. So that's another thing. And back when I first started the stream, I said that it's a 50-50. And the thing about me is that I feel like I see it more 50-50 because of the fact that they were separated for so long. Like, I feel like if they grew up as siblings from beginning to end, then I could be like, I could feel a little bit more uncomfortable about it. But I feel like it makes it a little better is the fact that they grew up as siblings in the beginning, but then those were their younger years. But then, Elsa's isolation caused Anna and Elsa to be separated for like 17 years or something like that, something crazy like that, before Elsa until Elsa turned 18. And and took on the crown or something like that. Was it 18 or 21? I don't remember. But they were separated a hell of a long time. And I feel like being separated from your siblings like that, like especially in Anna's case when she forgot half of what Elsa was, Elsa's magic, like I could like I said, I can see it. I really can. Like, I know a lot of people will not agree with me, but I can definitely see how these two could have potentially, as siblings, fallen in love. Because a lot of, I don't want to say anybody's business, but I definitely have met a group of two individuals who they didn't even know they were related, and they started a relationship years later. Like, I guess like their parents divorced when they were like babies, and then they actually met years later, fell in love, and then ended up finding out that they were siblings, half siblings, or whatever. So shit like this happens around the world, and obviously like it shit just happens. You can't blame it. So if a story went like that, like, oh well, Elsa and Anna, were siblings, yes, but they were not related, or they didn't know they were related, like, and they met as adults, then whose fault would it be? I personally think it definitely would be the parents' fault. If two siblings meet in real life, like as adults, and fall in love, and they didn't even know they were siblings, that's nobody else's fault but the parents' fault. That's my opinion, I feel. And that's why I always say, y'all make sure that your kids know who their siblings are, because the possibility of them meeting a lost sibling out there and starting some kind of relationship with them is not zero. It might not be high, but it's not zero. So it definitely happens. So yeah, so moving forward, then obviously, after Anna chases Elsa up the mountain, that's where she meets Kristoff, of course. And all of us that saw the movie off rip, we saw that Kristoff was definitely gonna be the love interest for Anna. But that's the thing I liked about the movie. I just felt like, I just felt that they weren't so focused on the true love aspect of things. Like, when we talk about Disney and things like this, like, they're always like, oh, there's this girl, there's this boy, they fall in love, true love, true love, true love everywhere. But I felt like Frozen did a great job in straying from that. They focused more on a sibling bond, and I feel like that's what caught everybody off guard. The fact that in this case, true love wasn't romantic, it was sibling, like, but overall, true love is still true love, no matter how you see it. Like, whether it's romantic or not, true love is still true love. So I felt like that honestly was the first time I saw that the true love was used in a different way than what we're used to. Like, I'm when I first saw the movie, I was like, wow, like that was a hell of a good play right there that they did. So moving forward, then Anna finds Elsa up on the mountain, living the life of a queen up there in an ice castle. You got the ice castle. She sang the beautiful "Let It Go" song, and then she's just up there, different hair down, the nice blue dress, and that did give me a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet vibe. I'm not gonna lie. You got Elsa up top of the stairs when Anna first went into the castle. And then Anna at the bottom of the stairs, and they're both looking up at each other, and like, telling them like saying their beautiful words to each other. And I felt like right there, like, that did give me Romeo and Juliet vibe. Once again, that right there, that snippet could have been potential material for a fanfictioneer to write about them too. It definitely could have. So then all shit hits the fan, all hell breaks loose, and Elsa accidentally ended up hitting Anna with her ice once again, because obviously the lesson is never learned here. She hits Anna once again in the heart this time, and obviously, according to the trolls, if you get hit in the heart, it's basically like you're dead. I don't remember if they specified that true love could have cured Anna if she had ever gotten hit in the heart, but I don't remember if they did. But if they didn't, but if they did, yeah. So Elsa ended up throwing Anna, Kristoff, and them off the mountain. Once they got back to the castle, Anna's hair started turning white, and at that point, Kristoff had left. Anna's hair started turning white and all this stuff, and they realized, oh, true love. So she thought Hans was her true love. Surprised to maybe me a little bit. Honestly, he did seem like a decent guy in the beginning, but surprise, Sir Hans was only after the throne. So he was not Anna's true love. And then he went up there, confronted Elsa, made her believe that Anna was dead. And then he was basically going to strike her down while her back was turned. She was like grieving on the floor. And Anna, our hero, came and turned into ice just in time to stop the blow, the final blow to Elsa's life. So that right there, again, also could have been used as material for a fan fictioneer to write a romance between these two. I feel like they could have used the whole true love concept, like the concept of true love. We all grew up knowing what true love was. Disney and honestly every other movie, like animated movie that has like a couple or true love theme, like they always have the same theme of true love beats all, true love conquers all, true love is everything. So these two sisters had true love. Regardless of romance or sibling, they had true love, which is right there the biggest source that anybody could use to create a story between these two. Definitely the whole concept of true love was a big ass source to use between these two. So in a let's say in a fan fiction story, like who's to say that true love didn't actually come from a sibling place, but a romance? Like who's to say? And to top it all off, we don't know what the laws were in that era. In the Frozen era, it was kind of like the old days of royalty, horse carriages, castles, the all that and above. So we don't know what the laws were over there. We don't know if they accepted LGBT. We don't know if they accepted incest. And I feel like I've done my research, and a lot of royal families, as weird as it is for the rest of us, out there, no judgment, of course, as weird as it is, they do sometimes tend to keep it in the family, if you know what I mean. Like, we got cousins marrying cousins, siblings marrying siblings, like I have read and heard and seen a lot of videos of royalty keeping it in the family. Y'all know that. Like, it's just, so obviously Elsa, as the queen of Arendelle, she can't just take in somebody as a spouse just willy-nilly. She has a council that she needs to discuss. She has a council that she needs to be like, okay, like it's time for me to get married, like, and like advisors and all that stuff. So if she would have brought up the possibility of a relationship with Anna, like, who's to say that they wouldn't have agreed, just so that the bloodline of the royal family would have been kept in in the family. But the only issue with that would have been is they wouldn't have been able to have kids, of course. But come on, they could have gone up to the trolls and asked, like, yo, like, we want to have a child together, like, can you make this happen for us? And who knows if they would have been able to help, So like I said, the possibilities are there. Obviously when you're a fan fictioneer like me, you have the imagination of the impossible. People tend to look at movies, TV shows, series, anime, cartoons, all that, and just have a one track mindset of, okay, well, that happened, well, yeah. But then you got us who's like, okay, well, that happened, but what if this would have happened? What if that would have happened? What if they really weren't siblings? What if they fell in love? What if all this and that? And that's the beauty. That's what makes us such beautiful people. We are, us fan fictioneers, beautiful people, man. We are beautiful because we have an open mind to a lot of things. And I feel like that is why this ship exists. Because if we were just like everybody else, this ship wouldn't exist, because it wouldn't have even crossed our minds to think that two siblings could potentially fall in love with each other. But no, we are open. We're definitely ready to explore this path, So I feel like a lot of material has happened. I honestly can't remember much of the second movie. To be honest, I wish I could talk more about the second movie. And I just remember in the second movie, it was mostly Elsa-centric, her trying to find her place. She felt trapped in her castle. I feel like but I feel like it's sad because I can't remember much of the second movie, but I feel like that's where most people would have gotten their material from as well to write a fan fiction, because in the second movie, they did spend a lot of time together. Them two were literally like this, like unified to the core. And I felt like a lot of people definitely would have taken advantage of that. It's almost like the writers, in the first movie, they were barely together. 90% of the time, these two were separated in the first movie. It was mostly like beginning and the end that they were together. But then the second movie, you literally got them like this, joined by the hip in that adventure that they went to. So I definitely feel like this scene right here is definitely fan fiction worthy. Like, and like I said, I can't help but just I just can't help but like put myself in that predicament. Like, I have sisters and brothers, and I wouldn't be like this close to any of them like that. Like, I love them to death. I give my life for my siblings, but I wouldn't be doing this. So it's like, there's so much material. It could happen, and it definitely could have. So then I'm gonna go to the other side of the spectrum now, and let's talk a little bit about them not being siblings. Like, my favorite stories so far that I've read about them two are them not being siblings. Their personalities are the same. Elsa's still a reclusive shut-in who doesn't like anybody or doesn't like to talk to anybody, and Anna is basically her polar opposite, like fiery, talkative, just everything. So those are my favorite fan fictions, like the one where they're not related. Like, I'll give you a few examples. Like, and by the way, I haven't written any of these. I just read them, and they're amazing. So I think like my top favorite ones are like high school themed. Like, we all remember that awkward stage of high school. So there's this fan fiction about them two where Elsa is like a geek. She's like the bottom of the food chain. She's a geek. Everybody makes fun of her. Like, the kind of geek you take to the toilet and you dunk them in. So that's the kind of geek she is. And then we got Anna, the popular. She's like a popular cheerleader. She's super popular. So then it's like a common story of the geek winning over the cheerleader. Like the jock and the cheerleader. Like, or not really, but like the geek. She obviously Elsa and Anna. Anna in the beginning of the story makes fun of Elsa, doesn't like Elsa, and then Elsa kind of comes up and they fall in love or whatever. And apparently, like, Anna has always been like Elsa's crush from the beginning. So that was one story I really enjoyed. Another story I really enjoyed was there was a story of like Anna, and she lived in like the common world, like our world. She lived in the world of cars and cell phones and internet and jobs and stuff like that. And she bought like a painting. She had moved into a new apartment, so she bought a painting from this antique store. And apparently this painting was like enchanted, or it was magical. So she bought it, and when she took it home, she hung it up in her room, and every night that she went to bed, she would wake up in this strange world. She would kind of wake up in the world of Arendelle, with the back in the day world. And apparently she found out that she had been summoned by this witch lady to like, come and save them, because apparently in that world Elsa was known as like the Ice Queen. Like, she was like the Ice Queen, the evil queen almost. So then this witch has summoned, like, she kind of casted a curse or something like that to kind of bring in a warrior to destroy Elsa, or to take on Elsa. And Anna apparently was chosen for this, so they trained her and stuff. And eventually Anna ended up meeting Elsa and realizing that she's not that monster that people talk about. And lo and behold, they ended up catching feelings. That's another really good story, because how ingenious do you gotta be to come up with that? Like, you really, like, Anna wakes up, like, Anna goes to sleep in our world and wakes up in the world of Arendelle, and then when she goes to sleep in the world of Arendelle, she wakes up and she wakes up back in her world. So it's like the creativity, man. Like, shout out, man. The creativity was awesome. That creativity was great. So then another one, this one I really like. This one actually is saved in my favorites, because I feel like I would like to go back and reread the story. But it's basically how and again, these stories I'm describing, they're Anna and Elsa are not siblings. They're just their characters and images are being used, but they're not siblings. So in this story, I guess like Elsa was still the queen of Arendelle, and she had a relationship with Anna already. Like, off rip, in the beginning of the story, they were together. They were in a relationship. They weren't related. I guess Anna was like a flower bender. Like, she used to sell flowers, and Elsa met her through that, and then they got together. And then Anna overheard a conversation between Elsa and her advisors, her royal advisors, and the advisors were basically attacking Elsa, like telling her, you need to be married, you need to have a kid already because we need an heir for the throne, whatever. So Anna overheard this conversation and decided that she was going to visit the trolls, the famous trolls. She's going to visit them and kind of ask them for help and see if there was a way that they could help, impregnate Anna with Elsa's baby. Like, legit. Like, she asked them if there was a way. And the trolls actually did have a way. And they enchanted Anna so that she could get pregnant with Elsa's baby. And then when she was pregnant, she told Elsa. And unfortunately, Elsa, her first thought was that Anna cheated on her, which is completely normal, so Elsa thought Anna cheated on her, but the only wrong thing that she did there was that she didn't let Anna explain, and she threw Anna on the street pregnant and everything. So then I think like 6 years went by, and Anna was living with Kristoff. So in the story, Kristoff was actually Anna's brother. So that's a funny thing to think about. So Anna was living with Kristoff, and she was the mother of this beautiful little girl who basically was a spitting image of Elsa, according to the story. And one of those days, the little girl caught like a really nasty fever, and that fever kind of triggered her powers, or that was her coming into her powers. And she accidentally destroyed like Kristoff's house with like ice, because she inherited Elsa's ice abilities. So in the midst of the chaos, Anna ended up like slipping, hitting her head, and she got a really nasty concussion. And then everybody thought that Elsa was the one responsible for the ice that was happening, to the house. So Elsa went over there to investigate. She found Anna, she found the little girl, she found Kristoff, and she kind of took him into the castle, like, so they could recuperate. And then throughout the story, obviously Elsa finds out that, lo and behold, she made a mistake. Anna was innocent, that the little girl was actually her child. That was a really good story, like that. And it's still, I still think it's still going. I don't think it has ended yet. But again, there's some good ass stories. Like, I'm sorry, but I respect everybody's opinions. But when I know when something is good, something is good. And I know a lot of people have very different opinions about these two ever being together like that, because like I said, they can't take out the fact of them being siblings out of their heads. And that's the thing about me, that I feel like I can see something and then go read fan fiction about it, and I can completely forget what I saw in the beginning in the story of the actual story, and completely immerse myself into the world that I'm reading. And that's what makes the story fucking amazing. It makes it great, because I honestly, whenever I read really good fan fictions or ELSANNA stories, I actually forget that these two were related. Unless the fan fiction includes them being related, then that's different. But when it's a fan fiction that it's not, when it's a story of them not being related, I forget. And then by the end of the story, I'm like, damn, that is so awesome. But then I come to realize, like, oh shit, these characters are actually related. But hey, it doesn't take away from the fact that the story was fucking amazing. So you see, like, ELSANNA, I really believe ELSANNA could have been something. It definitely could have been something. I feel like there was a lot of material that could have been used to make ELSANNA into a reality. There was definitely a lot of places that fanfictioneer people, us fanfictions people, could have taken to create a romance between these two. And to be honest, removing the siblingness of it all, like, if you see these two characters as an image wise, like how they look, their personalities, they definitely could have made one hell of a couple if you think about it, because they were like polar opposites. And you know what they say, opposites attract. We got Elsa, the reclusive, shut-in. She doesn't like to talk to people. She's one of those people that could just stand in the background and be okay with that. Like, she just doesn't want to be noticed. She doesn't want to attract attention. She's like a calm, like, just kind of person. And then we got Anna, who is her polar opposite, like, fucking fiery redhead, outspoken, out loud. She's happy all the time. She's skipping down the street. She's singing random songs. She's like always have fun kind of person. So these two definitely would have brought out they would have made a good couple because they would have helped each other bring out personalities, things that they have that they didn't know they had. Like Elsa, like Anna could have helped Elsa have more fun, could have helped her smile more, laugh more, could have helped her be more risk taker. Let's go skydiving, let's go do this. Like, she could have helped Elsa kind of come out of her shell, and Elsa would have been kind of Anna's voice of reason, you know, because Anna, the type of character I feel like she is definitely the character of, I'm gonna jump off this cliff. I don't give a fuck what's down there. Whether it's water or land, I'm jumping off, you know. She's reckless, you know, so I feel like Elsa would have been able to kind of manage her a little bit, like, yo, like, think about what you're doing kind of thing, you know. So I feel like as a couple, them two would have worked, you know. They would have, as siblings or as non-siblings, their personalities definitely matched. And then and like I said, I've read stories where the stories that they read, when you read Elsanna stories, like, you're reading about them too, like how they look. You know, Elsa's still a platinum with blue eyes. Anna's still a redhead with blue eyes. Like, you still have their images in your head. And if you take time to just like, forget everything else, like, you would be able to see that they definitely could work. And I feel like that's why I say it's 50-50 for me, because I admit that I do feel a little bit more uncomfortable reading about them being siblings still and falling in love to, you know, them not being siblings and falling in love. And I've read some sibling ones that are crazy. Like, there was this one story that I read that it was about, like, Elsa was like trying to go to college so bad. Like, she was like really, really trying to like go to college, and the reason why was because she was in love with her sister, which was Anna, and she felt disgusted. She felt like it was a sin. She felt all that stuff, and the rest. She felt all that, so she was like counting down the days to graduate high school so she could go, because I guess she had been she was gonna go to college like out of state or out of the country or something, and she had been in love with Anna for like a while now. She had been fighting those urges, but then, you know, obviously as the story progressed, like, Anna in the beginning didn't see Elsa as anything else but a sister, but then eventually those feelings changed. So that's one story. Another, the craziest story I've ever read, and I'm sorry y'all if I'm describing these stories and not saying names of who they are, because I've read so many that all the names blend into me, but they're still amazing. I just hope that it at least encourages you enough to go to go explore a bit of Elsanna. Another crazy ass story that I read, and this is the craziest Elsanna story I've read so far, but it was that Anna was Elsa's daughter. Like, she was Elsa's teenage daughter. Like, Elsa was like a 40-year-old something woman, and she had Anna, and it was Elsa and Kristoff. Like, it was Elsa and Kristoff together and they you know, consummated, and then they created Anna, and Anna was their daughter. But then Anna went to like she had like a friend. Was like a friend, or that he was like a kind of like a mad scientist. Like, this man was like a scientist. He wanted to discover the world of time traveling. So Anna was hanging out with him and helping him like with some experiments that he was conducting, and she actually accidentally sent herself back into the past. Like, she time traveled. That's how out of this world this fan fiction was. So she time traveled, and when she time traveled, she was stuck in the past, and then she met Elsa when she was a teenager. She met her own mother, because in the story, Elsa was her mom. She met her mom as a teenager. And obviously, Elsa, when she was a teenager, she didn't know that Anna was her daughter from the future. So Elsa ended up actually catching feelings for her own kid in time travel wise back in time. It was a whole mess. It was really a whole mess, but the story was so crazy that I couldn't help but read it. I don't want to keep talking about it, because I feel like people need to go read it for themselves. I could describe it as much as I can, but you will not feel what I felt unless you read it. Like, it was so out, but it was such a crazy story that it's kind of one of those stories that even if you're like, what the fuck, like you still want to keep going, you still want to keep reading, you know, like that's that. Honestly, shout out to all these creators of these stories. Like they, like you guys have a crazy mind to be able to come up with with stuff that is so out of this world. Like honestly, it really is. But yeah, so moving forward, I give this ship maybe like from 1 to 100. I want to say it's like a 50. I really want to stay in the middle, because of the reasons I described. Like half of me yes, half of me no. It's like a yay and nay, both. It's yay nay to me, you know, because it just really depends on the execution of how the story is written, how the characters are used. Like that's what it really depends on for me, to be honest. But yeah, so that's all I gotta say about it. I hope you guys, you know, if you guys have any thoughts or comments, please don't be afraid to write me a message or a comment, like, subscribe, anything you guys want. Like we can discuss things. Like if the channel keeps building and building, you know, if I get some people to watch me more, like I would love to do like a live chat with y'all, and like, you know, so you guys can tell me opinions on the fan fictions that I've written, that I've talked about already, or the ones I'm currently going to talk about. You know, I want to hear what people have to say. I want to talk to people. I want to know opinions, thoughts, everything. Like I would love to hear some. So please don't be scared to come talk to me. Like message me. Talk. Like when it comes to talking fan fiction, y'all, like I could talk fan fiction forever. Like I love fan fiction. I really do. I think I've written like 2 stories, like, you know, but I'll talk about those a little later because, you know, a little self-conscious here, you know. Those were my very first fan fictions. And also, just a fair warning, like in the future, like I will be doing a lot more like femlash fan fictions, like LGBT, girl on girl, because a little bit of a personal information on me. When I first discovered like the world of fan fiction, I had been struggling with my sexuality. I was like very deep in the closet, very, very deep in the closet. So in a way, the fan fiction world kind of like, you know, I was living through that. Whenever I've read about, you know, girl on girl, you know, fan fictions and stuff like that, it was almost like me living through it, because I was so scared of my own sexuality back in the day. So a lot of the fan fictions I read are female on female fan fictions, you know, a lot of them. So if y'all ever question why, like, damn, she's like doing so many girl on girl fan fictions, that's honestly why, because I just read like it's almost like me living through it. Now that I'm fully open and out there and happily engaged to a beautiful, amazing woman, like now I'm kind of expanding my horizons a little more. But it definitely, I definitely have more knowledge of girl on girl fan fictions, 100%. But anyway, y'all please subscribe, like, help the channel out. Let's get this little channel going. I really hope I can get some people up in here to talk about fan fiction and anything else y'all want. You know, I'm open to suggestions. You know, I love learning new things and exploring new things. So please leave a like, comment, subscribe, anything. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night or evening or day. Peace out, Akon.